you call it, in Germany or in Europe. We want to help these folks. You want to provide them resources. It's a volunteering community thing. And it's not just me. There's me. There is Rafiq, who is our speaker. Then there is Milan. He's not on the call right now. There's Mastane. So there's a few volunteers. There's a small team which is doing this, right? So that's the idea. We help you with your careers. And today's session, I would like to introduce our speaker, Mohammed Rafi, who is a very experienced software engineer, and he's a founder of a job portal, which is JobsRMine. Right? It's a portal to connect talent with the opportunities. And if I talk about Rafiq's experience, he has tons of experience in computer science and working in various countries. So, Greece, of course, in India, Greece, Belgium, USA, UK, and so on. And his own experience plus hiring people. And he has plenty of experience in global hiring trends. And because of his own portal itself, he sees tons of job applications and job requirements, right? So he definitely has a lot of perspective, a lot of learnings to share with you all. So in this webinar, Rafiq will share a lot of practical insights about making an effective, I would say, resume tailored for folks looking for data roles or roles in Germany. And of course, you all know that at this market, at this juncture, the way the market is right now, with any single job application job opening receiving 500 applications in one single day, it's very important that you have a good resume which is relevant and stands out. So that's what Rafiq will help us understand today. So thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you, Rafiq, for doing this and taking out your time. And over to you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge and experience in writing an effective resume. Today we have audience mostly from Germany and some from India and some from UK as well, but most of the content is relatable to everybody. Okay, so it's going to be relevant, but it's more focused towards the Germany market. So yeah, the whole point of having mentorship groups is to signpost people towards resources rather than having jobs group. I felt mentorship groups are more effective in signposting people and using the scarce time of the volunteers. So in today's webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to see what a resume should contain for a German market. Okay. Let me just minimize this participant view. Yeah. So we're going to see how to tailor the resume for a German market, specifically what section should be there, what should be written in those sections to make it impactful, and how to optimize your resume for ATS, something which most of us are dread about. We don't need to worry about it much, provided we do the basics properly. And we are going to see some introduction to some AI tools which you can use to make your life easy, because today a lot of tools are available. It's even if you're not a native speaker, you can use these tools to write an effective resume. So let's look at some statistics before we start looking into the actual topic. First statistic you need to know is this statistics is from the US, okay, but it is relatable to every other geography: India, UK, US. And things are getting more competitive in Europe, particularly Germany, because of some visa rule easing, allowing international applicants to come, stay, and then look for a job based on their skills. For any role, this statistics is slightly few years old, but you can relate to it. For any job, there will be 50 applicants who apply for the jobs. And out of the 50, 46 get shortlisted for interview. And out of the 4 who gets interviewed, 1 gets the job. So why the 50 didn't get shortlisted is because of a piece of paper called your resume or CV. That showcases your skills, why you're worth, why you are a good fit for this role. Okay, and once a recruiter looks at your CV or resume, In Germany, let's stick to the terminology of resume, because it is a CV, but it should be of two. It's kind of hybrid. It should be of short length. So we will stick to the resume terminology. I'll tell you the difference as well. So when a recruiter looks at your resume, he takes less than 15 seconds to just. It is actually 10 seconds, but in most some cases they go for it in a second round. Less than 15 seconds. First, he will go through to do the first scan to see, does he see what he needs to see. Okay, for every role he will have some mandatory skills, some optional skills. Optional skills, if you don't have this in your resume, that's fine, but the mandatory skills, the mandatory experience, commercial experience, or the mandatory certifications, trainings have you gone through, he will take less than 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So you have very less time to make an impact. Okay, and yeah, in some cases, say this statistics is from US, people are rejected even based on their email. If you don't write a professional email, okay, I need a job now at gmail.com, what sort of email is this? I've seen such emails. Okay, that shows that you're desperate, you're not professional, you're not into the mood of a business communication, and just use any sort of any emails. So people get rejected based on their emails as well. And um, and you need to proofread. There are a lot of tools available today, okay, and go beyond the basic MS Office spell checker, because a lot of things, a lot of flow of grammar, MS Office does not catch. There are tools like Grammarly, which can catch and correct the sentences. And this Grammarly tool is a free tool today. There is a pro version as well. There is a free version as well. You can use a free version to begin with, that will catch the grammar and reword the sentences, which the other commercial tools don't do that. And when a recruiter looks at a resume, what does he look for? He will, if the role is for a experienced person, okay, so 67% they will look at your job experience, whether he has an experience in the right industries, right area, right functional areas, for example, banking or public sector, or any other insurance or telecom. If does he have the experience in the right industry? This is the type of screening they look at. And they will also look at your cultural fit. Okay, how do you fit culturally? Do you have international experience before? Have you worked in multicultural teams before? These cultural fits also matters on your resume. And cover letters, though this only 26% is mentioned here, it is from the US, but in Germany it's a high number of people want a cover letter. Okay, for almost every role you need to provide a cover letter that will summarize your skills, your experience, and say why you are a good fit for the role. And if you are from a prestigious institution, that works in your favor. And if you have good grades at more of entry level, for entry level people, if you have good grades to showcase, that works in your favor as well. And this graph, this chart shows what all how much to what percentage the recruiters look for for content in your resume. Say for example, they would love resumes that are tailored for the role. Okay, don't there's nothing called one size fit all approach at all. That doesn't work. You need to customize your resume for each role that you are applying for. So this it all, see, in the entire game, if you see, right, you are competing against so many other candidates. So it's all about standing apart. Okay, how you are better, how you present yourself, your skills better, how much time you spend to customize it, and how much attention to detail you give. Okay, that also matters. That impresses the resume. And once when the first glance, if the recruiter is impressed with what he wants to see, and then he moves on and goes and reads line by line, word by word, every dot and comma will be read. Okay, and questions in the interview and after shortlisting will be from your resume only, and the job related to the job description. They will not ask anything apart from your what you have written in the resume. Have you written the right skills? Okay, have you highlighted, rather than putting it in a separate skills box, like a separate section, embed the skills in whichever role you have used. For example, you might have used Python. Okay, Python, what version have you used? Use the version number. Many people don't do that. They just mentioned Python, they just mentioned Java. Java 2 is it's obsolete. Java before pre 8 is different, after 8 is different. Today it's 23, the stable version. So version number of the skills also matters. You need to mention it, what version of that you have used, because most recruiters or the hiring managers will be looking for a specific version, or at least if not 23, at least the 17. 17 is a decent version of Java that is expected. And you need to, when you write the cover letter, you need to address it to the hiring manager or the recruiter. It will be most in all job description, it will be mentioned who is the hiring manager, or the recruiter's name will be written. Address it to the recruiting manager, and you need to use appropriate titles. So in India, the titles don't matter much, but in the Western world, the titles matter a lot. Mr., Miss, Mrs., Doctor, whatever it is. Okay, use the appropriate title. If you use the title and then the last name is used, okay, rather than for, if you use the first name, you don't need to use the title. Mr., for example, in my case, Mohammed Rafi, Mr. Rafi, you need to address. So all these the recruiters look for. And the most important thing for IT jobs, you need to provide links to your LinkedIn at a very bare minimum level, and links to your portfolio, and links to your GitHub projects. Okay, things have come to this extent that whoever provides GitHub links with, and just don't provide GitHub link just for the sake of it. They will also go and look at your commit history. How many commits have you done? Okay, or is it just a fork? Have you forked some open source project and then just put it on your CV? They will look at this to this level. They will go and check. It's not, if you just provide GitHub link, that's not sufficient. You need to have some commit history, some changes you have done. Okay, and portfolio, if you are applying for a front end visual jobs, you need to provide a link to your portfolio, like Behance network. All these links you can provide. So as I said earlier, less than 15 seconds is what the recruiter spends firstly to go through your CV, and unless he finds things that he wants to look at, he will not look at your CV further at all. The recruiters have got more time today, more options today. Okay, if you need to make it easy for him to shortlist you. If you make it hard for him to shortlist you, he will just go for the next candidate because he has got more choice. Okay, at the bare minimum, at entry level, this is what you can do. Though you may not have a commercial experience, there's a lot of things you can do to impress a recruiter. Okay, what are this? We'll go through it one by one. First, you will check whether you have the three main things. He will check. Okay, he will check whether you have got the right qualifications. We have the education in the relevant field, any certifications, any training you have attended, and if you are experienced for an experienced role, he will validate the experience, telling, okay, have you got this functional experience? And your enthusiasm for the role also matters. Not just say design, develop, tested, design, develop, tested. That is boring. Most CVs that come from the subcontinent, I've seen, they just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste in each role and then submit it. That is the biggest blunder anybody can do. That shows that you have not spent time in writing a resume, and you have not customized it. You have not read the job description. In the Western world, in Germany particularly, reading the job description is very important. It's not in the other geographies, like in India, it's a bit ad hoc, but in the Western world, you need to read the job description and customize your CV. On a resume, okay, if you broadly classify a resume, what can go into a resume? It can be classified under three silos or three sections. Okay, to begin with the basic information, your full name should be there. In say regions like Tamil Nadu, they use the initial. That's not found in other areas. You need to write your full name. Okay, and when it comes to address, you don't need to mention your address on the CV, but on the cover letter you write, right? On the cover letter, you need to mention the full address, and you need to have a professional email address, a contact number, and educational details. See, when you write email address, just write one email, that's fine. Write one contact number, that's fine. Don't write two emails, two phone numbers, and not attend to any emails, not respond to any emails, and not respond to any phone calls. If you are in the middle of something, if you're traveling, etc., that's fine. You might miss a call, but call back, call the recruiter back and check who called you and what was the call regarding. And when you get email, have the habit of checking your emails. Most cases at the entry level roles, people are not checking their emails. Okay, as I said, you're competing against lot many people, and the one who checks and responds promptly, he gets the job. And if there is any coding exercise that the recruiter has given you, remember to submit it before the deadline. If the deadline is not mentioned, if it is open-ended, don't assume that you have months together to submit your coding exercise. That is also another test. Okay, are you proactive in asking what is the deadline, or you're just assuming that you have weeks and months together? That is also negative. That will work in you might have given the assignment done the assignment in the best possible manner, but if you don't submit it on time, you lose out. So he will look for some basic information. He will look for some professional elements like your work experience, your professional affiliations, your certifications, what certifications you have done. If you have for academic roles or research roles, your publications or presentations you have done in any prestigious forums, any research experience you have done, that these come under the professional elements section. And additional elements, don't just go with the first two and then ignore the last. Okay, I'll explain when I speak through the rest of the sections. You can have, if you have won any awards, okay, any scholarships you have got, because scholarships, there could be some prestigious one like Erasmus. There is one scholarship in France. It's given to say every year, say approximately up to 10 people from India get those scholarships, fully funded for doing research in the EU. Okay, so such scholarships, if you have won, it's not given for everyone. There is a selection criteria. One has gone through a very rigorous selection criteria and got the scholarship. So mention those scholarships as well. And if you have any voluntary role that are relevant to the role you are applying for, you can mention that. Okay, and any language skills you have. Okay, and what is the level of language proficiency you have? Don't just say basic, intermediate, advanced. B1, B2, C1, C2, A1, A2, whatever is the competency level, mention that. In German market, it's better if you have B2 or C1 if possible, but B2 is the bare minimum employers are looking for. So because language, even though, and if the job advertisement is in English, you can apply in English. If it is in German, you need to use some sort of translation, professional translation mechanism, and apply in a German format. Let's have a short poll. What would be the biggest challenge in writing your resume? And you can answer that on that. If you look at the Zoom, there is an option.
Yeah.
What is the biggest?
All live, everyone? Can you see the questions?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just answer
actually,
for the first poll.
yeah, only the first one, because I didn't realize it will all come together.
Okay.
Yeah, only for the first one. Yeah.
Just answer. There are no right or wrong answers for these questions. Just write what you feel is right. Okay.
And then think in this one, you can choose multiple things also. So if you feel, that, okay, I have two problems, you can choose two of them also. Yeah, so let's give them a few more seconds so people can respond to the poll. Okay. I think we have a fair number of responses and the pattern is clear, Rafiq. I think the main one is tailoring it for different jobs, perhaps, right? And I believe the aspect over there also is that different jobs have different key requirements. So how do you go about highlighting the things as well, and how do you go about making it?
Yeah, there is no wrong answers for this question. All answers are right. Tailoring it for different jobs. Today we have n number of tools which will do on a click of a button. Earlier, before AI tools came, it was a person needed real language skills to customize it for each role they are applying for. But today we have tools. Even if you are being a data science student or a professional, not being aware of these tools is a real worry in the industry. Okay, You're going to develop AI tools, you're going to work on data science, patterns, algorithms. But if you are not aware of the tools, and if you don't use the tools, then your academic credentials are really questionable. Okay, it's easy to customize a CV for each role you apply for, and writing a song or a strong summary, and you need to write a summary, professional summary over objective. I'll explain it with a specific example down the line. And showcasing achievements, many people have achievements but they don't showcase it. Okay, that's a real challenge, and you're losing out. You need to do maximum possible to get the recruiter's attention. And formatting and design, that's the first impression that a recruiter gets. If that is wrong, it will instantly put him off. In German market, they value precision, honesty, and clarity of the data that you present. Okay, that's really important. Don't give vague statements. Okay, don't make tall claims. Be honest, use simple language. Okay, that's fine. We are all not native English speakers or native German speakers, but there are tools available. Use the tools. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Yeah, we have seen this. So first, try to understand the German market. Okay, in Germany, it's a lot different from the rest of the market. English speaking countries like US or UK or even India, everything works. Most of the things works. It's not that structured because of the volume of recruitment happening. Many things are overlooked, but still in certain specific roles, they are particular about it. In German market, precision and structure matters. Okay, and there is even a standard, industry-wide standard for any official communication. It's called DIN 5188. I think if you just Google it, you will see what it is. It mentions how the official communication should be, what should be the fonts used, what should be the size of the font used, and what should be the structure of the communication happening. To that extent, they are very particular. You don't need to be so in compliant with this DIN 5188, but you need to pay attention. Okay, you have to be precise. Okay, then don't just say led a team of 10 developers. Be very specific, quantify it with some number. Wherever applicable, quantify it with number. It will be really impactful. And don't make it up. Okay, don't fake it. And you definitely, if you pass the scanning process in the interview, you will be caught with this. Don't overdo it, that's what I'm trying to say, but quantify it with some numbers. And be honest, don't lie on your CV at all. Be transparent and be factual, wherever, everywhere. Okay, these things matter a lot in Germany. Sections of a German resume are these. There are more sections, but I have just removed some because that is not applicable for most of the rows. Some are applicable for, say, researchers, academicians, but today we are concentrating for IT engineers, particularly data science. Start with your personal information, your name, your email, your contact details. Address need not be there on the CA resume, but it should be there on your cover letter. And then you need to give a professional summary. In the professional summary, you need to summarize who you are, what are your skills, and this a summary of your experience and how it is suited for the role you are applying for. Okay, don't start with an objective. Objective works for a different geography, not for Germany. If you are experienced, write your work experience. Reverse chronological order is very important. Latest on the top, go behind, and then your earlier experience. And on a resume, you don't need to mention all of your roles, whatever is relevant, because people change their career from being a teacher to the army and to the IT later. So whatever is relevant to that role, that you can mention in the reverse chronological order, and give the dates proper. Give the dates in the German format. Don't use a US format or a UK format. German format, the common format is different. Use that. I think it's year and then month, I guess, right? Okay, use that order in the while listing your experience, the reverse order. List your educational qualifications, certifications that you might have done. When you do the certifications, list the most prestigious ones, like the ones from IBM, Oracle, from prestigious certifying body, right? Use them if it is available. than smaller certifications like Udemy or something from LinkedIn. And when you write the certification, give full details of when you got the certification and what for what. Don't just say it's a certified Java programmer. This term itself will throw your CV in the wind, because that is a term used 25 years ago. Today it's Oracle certified certification. And what version are you got certified? Give more details. Be very specific. This is the clarity. Recruiters love such CVs that are very specific and that give everything that they need to shortlist you. Okay, they will most likely read through the CV and instantly pick the call and then speak to you. Skills and certifications, as I was told earlier, write the version numbers of the skills and mention the skills against each role. Okay, recruiters look for example, they want Python 3 experienced guy, and if you have done that 10 years ago Python 3 didn't exist, but if you have done your 10 years ago, it's not that relevant. So they will look for the desired skills in the most recent roles. First two roles, they will definitely be very particular. Older roles, they are not very key. Okay, but the first two roles that you have done should be as close as possible to the role you are applying for. And additional information, as we have discussed in the past, any language proficiencies, if you are a member of a profession, any professional bodies, you can mention there. And there is one statistics that you should include if you have it. I will tell that in the further slides. So in your personal contact details, in Germany, use a professional headshot. Okay. At entry level, they are definitely expecting this. At a mid level, maybe. At a senior level, it's not needed, but it's good to include it. Okay, have a professional headshot, and there are tools to make a non-professional headshot into a professional ones today. Just Google. Okay, you don't need to know the tool name. Just go. Everything starts with Googling. And you need to give your contact details properly. And at a senior roles, you don't need to include the photos. Address, if you include in the cover letter, that's sufficient. And I'll tell you one reason why the address is needed. It's not to come and prove where you live. If the role is Munich, if you're applying from a distant city, okay, Frankfurt or some other city, they prefer local candidates. That for that reason, this address is very relevant to judge whether you are a local candidate or not. Because if you are living far off, you might say, I will join. But after going through the process, you say, no, relocation is difficult, family reasons, kids, etc., etc. I can't move. It's a waste of time for both the people. For that reason, to get shortlisted, they look for this address, and then local candidates are preferred. So, before you start writing a CV, right, your resume, you need to provide an overview of your career path overview, okay, and then the key skills that are relevant for the role. And in this key skills, they look for what skills they are looking for in the job description, and try to answer that if you have used it in your CV. Then sometimes you might not have used a very particular version. I got one job by mentioning a skill that I thought, okay, I will remove this. It's not very common skill, but the recruiter, so they want this skill. That's why you were shortlisted. Okay, read the job description clearly. The job descriptions are very clear. Read the job description, and from the job description, pick up some skills, mandatory skills they are looking for. They will clearly say what is mandatory, what is optional, nice to have. Okay, mandatory skills you need to include in your resume, and try to include that wherever relevant. Don't fake it. Okay, in your CV, and you need to tailor your content for each role you're applying for. You need to customize and apply and say why you are relevant for that role. Okay, here I told what is a professional summary and what is an objective. This is a small example. An objective tells what you need. Okay, a professional summary explains what you are and what skills you have, and why, how you are better suited for this role. In this example, if you see, result driven, okay, make such impactful statements. Don't just say good data engineer. Okay, result driven data engineer with 5+ use numbers, 5+ years experience, increase the proficiency by 40% through ML models, expert in Python, SQL, and cloud SQL. So most of the data analysts, they need to mention the relevant skills. SQL is a very important skills for these roles. And if the role needs any particular algorithm, any machine learning algorithms experience, mention that. Objective is just what he wants. Okay, experienced data science engineer seeking a senior role position. Okay, it's about centered towards the candidate. Says I am this, I need this. Okay, it's not that relevant for a business to hire you based on your objective. But for other geographies, objective works. But for Germany, professional summary is what you need. Okay, know the difference between the 10. So it showcases the value you give your offering rather than what you want. Okay, in the work experience section, always use reverse chronological order. Okay, latest on the top and then um, in order to the bottom. And you need to include metrics wherever applicable. Include metrics rather than just say include performance. Just write improved algorithm efficiency by 30%. What is a metric? Metric is 30%. Wherever applicable, use it. And relevant projects, highlight the projects you have used and your contribution. Okay. Recruiter does not want to know what your team did. I'm not hiring your team, I'm hiring you, the candidate. So I want to know what you did. Use I, okay, rather than we. I don't want to hear what we did. I want to hear what you did, the candidate. So highlight 11 projects and the skills and what was your contribution to that. Okay, there are a lot of impactful verbs you can use. I will show them in the rest of the slides. A small example of how the experience on small snippet is this date format is not German specific. This is an American example. So from what date to what date, you should be precise. Don't miss out. Where did you work? And if you see here, as a shop assistant, I've learned the importance of providing great customer service to gain maximum sales. What it means is you just didn't work. You have that business acumen to increase sales. Okay, I'm responsible for organizing stock and ensuring costs that control. So you're organized. Okay, you have some soft skills. Carrying out weekly risk assessments and increase what did you learn in this job. Okay, that will highlight some transferable skills for the next roles. A small example. Likewise, write something impactful. Education section, you can write your degrees that you have applied, your diplomas, if anything, any certifications you have done. And when you write your degrees, don't just mention the degrees. Write some modules that you have covered in the degrees. What because software engineer, masters in software engineer means nothing. It's very open-ended. Okay, what did you study in that degree coursework? Right, the most important ones, 3 4 maximum, write it. Okay, write the main modules. Don't write everything. Space is very scarce on the because it should be two pages long or 3 pages long, attendance level 1 page long. So you need to see what is the best version of you that you can showcase on the resume. Any highlighting anything relevant to data science, the role you have applied for, highlight that main skills you can make in bold. And if you have attended any trainings, what dates did you attend? Okay, don't just say attended training in Python. Who conducted it by IBM? That carries a better impact than something else, a small vendor. When it was conducted and what all was covered, write details, more details into it. Skills and certifications, soft skills. If you are a good team member, if you have led some action, write the action about it. Okay, and these in under cultural fit section, these soft skills matter. I will show you an example where every aspect that I have spoken to is embedded. I will break it down telling, okay, in this line, what are the soft skills used? What are the technical skills highlighted? What are the certifications? What are the functional knowledge he has gained? In one page, you can see everything. I'll show you an example shortly. Technical skills mention the technology use, but used with version number that works in your favor. There can be an additional information section as well on your resume, where it's very important for the German market, very important to mention your language proficiencies. Okay, what level do you know? B1, you will be very precise rather than telling basic, intermediate. because the recruiter will not understand what level do you understand, what is intermediate. It's very open-ended statement. So mention this level A, B1, B2, C1, C2, A1, A2, whatever level you need, they will mention it. If you have any professional membership, member of some society, etc., that can be mentioned here. If your hobbies are relevant to the role, your hobbies are not that relevant for a data science engineer, but if your hobby is to mentor data science students, recruiters love it. Okay, such things, write something relevant to the role you're applying for. If they're relevant, included. Otherwise, if you have photography, if you're traveling, that's very generic. Everybody has that. Don't use repeated terms like hardworking, out of the box thinker. These are all buzzwords. They don't work any longer. I find such buzzwords in every resume I read through. Everyone writes it, and they don't substantiate it with some examples. Okay, and if you don't substantiate, it's a very blank statement. Okay, because everybody does it, and you also do it. So how are you different from the rest? It's all about standing apart, getting the attention of the recruiter. If you get if you get past the initial screening and get into the interview, 60% of the process is done. Once you see face to face, you get an opportunity to impress. But to get that opportunity, resume is the piece of paper that will get you an opportunity. Just imagine, before you buy a product, what do you look at it? You look at the manual, right? You look at the how fuel efficient it is, how energy efficient it is. Okay, what is the warranty level, etc., etc. So for a product, the you look at this manual. Likewise, for you, your resume is a manual. So don't underestimate the importance of a resume. This is the example I spoke about. Just kindly bear with me because the image is not very clear. I will pause on the slides. You can look at it more closely. One page. This you can find. This example you will find everywhere on the internet, on LinkedIn particularly. This resume is an American format, so don't worry about it. But 90% of it is relevant to the German market. And this has been shortlisted in the FAN company, Facebook, Apple, the top companies, tech companies. Just see, various sections have been highlighted, and each color has got a meaning. Let's look at what they are. Pink color, okay, it indicates action verbs. If you see here, under software development, implemented, designed and developed, automated, these are some impactful verbs that you can include that are in pink color. Each color has got a reason. I'll tell you. For example, if you have led a team skills, if you have designed creative skills, if you have automated skills, if you have optimized if you're just writing out of the box thinking, you give an example, how you optimized. Okay, write it, be very specific. German market loves it. Yellow is hard skills, specific to the skills you want. Okay, some hardware skills, some technology skills, technologies. The recruiter, the job description tells that those are highlighted in yellow in color. For example, if you see here C#, .NET, MS SQL, these are in yellow. See, all these elements you need to mix and have it in your resume, and that will be very impactful to read. At least a small tip is use at least 3 of the mandatory skills that the recruiter has mentioned in the job description. Orange mentions strong domain knowledge, functional knowledge. If you have telecom industry experience, if you see orange here, he has highlighted under cyberscape, mobile RTS game and client and server development. It's a functional skill. It could be anything. Okay, if you need to mix such. So these many elements you can bake into your resume. Okay, resume, most times what people I have seen is they will take an old version from somewhere. They have copied from a friend. Friend might have made a mistake. They will copy the mistake. They'll just add 2 lines. In a rush, they will send. Don't do that. Green in this resume, green indicates the metrics, the numbers. Wherever applicable, use the numbers. He has used the numbers, percentage, etc., etc. 23% he once has mentioned on the EV. Use such metrics wherever applicable. And these are called impact metrics. Okay, don't overdo it, don't lie. Wherever applicable, include this. Quantify it with a number. Blue are impact statements. Okay. When you explain as don't just write your roles and responsibilities. So no, that's so boring to read. Explain it in a par formula or star formula. Okay, what it is. Par formula is what was the problem, what was the action, what are the results. What was the problem you solved, what action you did to solve the problem, like automated. What was the result? Result was 50% improvement in your build time, in your Jenkins build, in developing, in building your artifacts and deployment. 50% time was reduced. That is the result. Problem was long running build actions. Just an example, okay, relevant to something you in your domain, in your area, you can write. Purple, purple color on the top. Okay, these are very, very important. Today it's getting very competitive. We need to have this. It gives a link to your LinkedIn or GitHub or Bitbucket or your portfolio links. That should be on your top after your contact details. And to just save space, don't just write it in a bulleted manner. Write it on a one line as well. You can write. Most people have seen they just put columns, 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 wasting space. Write it in one line. And most importantly, don't give just give a link to there. Print the entire URL. Okay, print the entire URL. github.com slash whatever it is. In this example, this is not a good example because he has given a link. Because when printed, the entire link will not get printed. It will just say GitHub or it will just say LinkedIn. He can't read the profile and then go and check on it later on. And in the beginning, when I said about presentation, I would recommend stick to black and white. Stick to the basics, black and white, because you might use blue, you might use green somewhere. Okay, I've seen some very jazzy resumes. If you do that, an extreme example is I may not like the color, I may not like blue, I may not like green, I might color discriminate you. One extreme example, don't give him the chance. And that is one reason. The main reason why I'm recommending this is if you use black and white, if printed, it will be in black and white. If you have highlighted some information in green, if printed, it will not be in green because most corporates, to conserve expense, they will have only black and white printer. Nobody will have a color printer to print you before they shortlist you. Black will be black, white will be white. Other colors may not print the same, and some information can get hidden. For this reason, stick to the basics. Black and white is always what I recommend. But for some creative roles, you can use other colors, but not for all roles. Okay, so each color has got, it is just highlighted. Okay, and it's not in actual CV, these colors are not used. Just to highlight different colors have been used. I will circulate this. You can read it and understand what I mean. And red boxes, okay, these means soft skills, responsible, mentor, okay, career advice, provided career advice. These are soft skills. So just in one page, just imagine how many he imagined from so many different angles and made the statements and made it relevant. It is a bit hard. Only the proactive candidates do this. Rest don't do that. They don't get shortlisted. They just spray and pray. That approach does not work. Okay, just applying for 100 different roles and just telling, okay, market is not good, my luck is not good, I'm not getting response. That should not be the approach. Customize and see in one page how much effort he has done to include so much. Okay, do the same for you. GitHub portfolios, and on LinkedIn, if you see, there is this easy apply. Okay, for every geography, this does not help. In certain geographies, don't use the easy apply. Rather than write specific to what you want, cover letter, proper cover letter, and the proper resume, upload each a different. You can have different version of your resume on LinkedIn. You can upload a different version for each role you apply for. This is not a made up statement, but it is from a research done by University of Kent in the UK, and they have come up with a skills map telling if you write anything related to this, okay, be it communication, teamwork, organizing, professionalism, writing skills, speaking skills, leading skills, analyzing skills, and some specific examples. If you write anything related to this, there is a more better chance of your resume getting shortlisted. If you don't have experience, include examples from your paid work experience, your work student experience, or any voluntary roles you might have done. Include that, because for entry level it's slightly more challenging because you don't have much to write, but still you can make it work in your favor if you do the basics right. Let's go for another poll now.
Yes, I'll start the poll. Folks, meanwhile, we'll just reshare the poll, relaunch the poll. So please answer question 2.
Which question 2?
Yeah, and Rafiq, just a time check. We have 8 minutes left. I know that there's a lot of good content which you're yet to share. A lot of slides pending. So just a reminder of the time check, so that we let's see if people have any questions as well.
Yeah, there is no wrong answers for these polls. Whatever you feel, just write.
Yes.
Is it the work experience, skills, education, or full summary?
All right. So we see that most it's like skills number 1 and work experience number 2 is what people are responding the most with.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I'll end the poll so that in the interest of time.
Yeah, that's fine. There are no wrong answers. So writing a professional summary is important, quite important. Every section is important according to me, but it can be more impactful if you do all the sections right. Okay. Okay. You can end the poll now. Okay, let's go. Tailoring the resume matters because it's a competitive market. You can see so many people you are competing against. Precision matters. You should be precise, clarity of information. The German market expects it. It's not they'll appreciate it, they'll expect it at the bare minimum. There are so many things you do not do in your resume. Okay, rushing your resume, that is the worst mistake anybody can do. Just take an older version of a resume, add 2 lines and send it. No, that should not be done. Don't leave gaps on your resume. Explain, just like one liner telling took a career break, or took a break to just travel, and took a break for taking care of your family, business, etc. Whatever it is, don't lie, because only thing his recruiter is interested is, were you serving any jail term, do you have any criminal history? That is what they want to know, but they are not nosy about your personal circumstances. Don't fake, don't give false information. Everything will be verified. And don't give personal information. I can see many people mentioning, I'm married, I'm single. No, that's not needed. And whether you what faith you follow, some right, I follow XYZ faith, that's not needed. Okay, those personal information should not be there on the resume. Okay, and don't link, just use the job duties, just use the PAR formula or the STAR formula: situation, task, action, and result. This should be your thing. This gives a hierarchy of errors that are that can be on your CV, that should not be there. Don't make unverifiable claims like I went to the moon and came back. Don't keyword stuff. Never do that. It will be caught. Some people are very smart. They use white color font to write some keywords, telling ATS they will get through the ATS. I have seen that. People use white color fonts to stuff keywords. Don't do that. With manual verification, you can be caught. Okay, don't have wrong. Just look at the CVs and then you will know what it means. Don't discuss your salary details on your CV. Those are agreed upon previously. What are the expectations, etc. Go through the CV and jumbling up the roles, putting when mixing up, it's a wrong, a big mistake. Don't do that. Spelling mistake, never. Common mistakes to avoid: personal situation information, avoid them. Non-German format, while Googling, use the German format. You can use Europass. I will go through that in the end. Yeah, don't use casual language or acronyms like I'm a rock star, AI guru. When recruiters search, they don't search for AI rock star. Okay, they use technical terms to search. Specialized AI, machine language algorithms specifically they look for. Okay, don't use such casual language. Timelines, use the right format. Don't miss it. If you miss the timeline, It's not a verifiable claim. Don't falsify information. When you mention the language section, mention B1 or not just fluent. Okay. This is an example of a bad CV. I'll just quickly run through. Why it is a bad CV? I'll tell you. All personal details are hidden. So from data protection point of view, you are guaranteed. This is available in the public domain. First of all, the format is not a German format. He has cluttered things. Okay, everything has jumbled up and put maximum information possible, imagining that he will get through. Many blunders he has done. Okay, first stage CV has been filled fully without leaving gaps, and it is not visually appealing to read. And then the opening paragraph, I'll send this example, you can read through. Opening paragraph, it talks a lot about buzzwords. Okay, he says, I'm someone who values harmony and consistency, bringing calm, adaptable approach to my work. That is expected. Okay, while I might not always highlight my accomplishments, it's a negative statement. Okay, don't do that. A commitment to work and creative stable. A lot of buzzwords he has used in the first paragraph itself. Avoid that. Under skill section, if you see, he has written front-end developer. That's not a skill, that's a role. Rather, he could have mentioned React.js or or Vue.js, specific things he could have mentioned. He has mixed up technical and soft skills. For example, problem solving, he has put it under skills, separate them out. Soft skills should be embedded in your roles that you have performed. Hobbies and interests are not very relevant, and it doesn't conform to the DIN 5008 format. That is the official format used in official communication. That's an excess to try, but try to conform to that standard if possible. ATS. Let's talk about ATS a bit. And
Rafi, I just raised my hand. A quick thing. I'd like to mention that the previous format which you showed, right? That actually, and I also observed this is perhaps the most commonly used format these days, one of the most popular format which people are using these days, for who knows what reason. But so it's great that you showed this example, because this is the dominant format being used in applications. And as you mentioned, this is not really the best format, right? Simple, more readable format, which some standard is better.
Some resources I'll point to go there. There'll be some very simple text formats available. Just download them, make the change. Okay, ATS. What is an ATS? ATS is very dreaded by all the job candidates, telling it is a dragon. No, nothing. It is a software. It's a software written by people like us. What happens? So many candidates apply. It is tedious for a recruiter to go through everything and then shortlist it. So what ATS does is it goes through the CVs, it looks at keywords, it matches the keywords and gives a score for this job description. What is the closest match he has? 90% match, 80% match, 70% match. It sorts in the reverse chronological order. So the better you get a higher ATS score. But today's ATS softwares are quite advanced. Okay, and don't worry about ATS much. Do the basics, you will get shortlisted. Do the basics right, and don't worry about the ATS is what I would recommend. When you use keywords, use it from the job description that you are using for, because ATS, they can scan anything today. Okay, they can scan and make it in the days of OCR readers. They can scan anything and extract the right information out of it. With LLMs today, it's even improved now. Don't worry about ATS much, but do the basics right is what I'm telling you. And when you use a resume, right, try to avoid columnar format. Rather than paragraphs, you can use bullet points wherever possible, rather than a clump of text. Use bullet points, use metrics, do the basics right, that's fine, and don't worry about the ATS. So I have told what is an ATS. Don't use very jazzy fonts. Stick to the basics, black and white. Keywords from the job ad, match it. And keep headline section. For example, under experience, just say work experience. Education, just say education. Some people use scholastic credentials. They make it so vague that even a natural language speaker might find it difficult. Okay, make it simple to shortlist you. Clear dates, use the language skills proper. Okay, and then you will get through the ATS. Don't worry about it, right? The higher score you can score, better. Avoid abbreviations. Okay, use specific words rather than using acronyms. Whatever, and sometimes the recruiter may not be a too technical person. He is not fully qualified in your domain. He is just an employee with some basic language skills. When he can't understand your acronyms, he might think you're not a suitable match. And rather than just selling, manage the team, just say let a 12% team and achieve 20% productivity increase. Use metrics, par up formula, problem action, and results. So some ATS friendly resume resources, Canva, okay. Spend some money. I would recommend spend some money. It's worth to spend the money. Some paid for templates are better than the free templates available. Over resume, all this Europass. If you use your Europass is good, it's widely used. If you use Europass, know how to edit it. Sometimes when the recruiter asks you to make some minor correction, people struggle with telling, oh, I can't edit a PDF. If you can't edit a PDF, don't produce an EDF format, PDF format. PDF format is widely accepted by the recruiters. Sometimes they will ask you to edit some information out, telling some personal information. Most times recruiters will do it themselves, but you should know how to edit it, how to use some online resource to edit a PDF. That you should know. Resume.io, the seventh resume, is an AI tool. Today, there are paste the job description, paste the resume, it will match it and then give you a score. How close do you match? Try to get a maximum score as possible. Use action verbs like spearheaded, transformed, achieved. We'll give an example. Responsible for attaining impulse is boring today. A better example is we developed, implemented training program, reducing onboarding time by 30%. A small example where you can make it more impactful. Don't focus on achievements, not just responsibility. Manage a team of sales executive. No, led a team of sales executive. Increase quarterly, every quarter. You see, it's not just one time. It's every quarter has increased by 25%. Power formula, use the power formula. Successfully completed many projects. No, that's very open-ended. How many projects? What is minimum? 1, 2, 3. Give a number. Delivered 10 projects, reducing cost by 15% on average. A last poll, or you can just skip poll in the interest of time. So how often do you update a resume? Only when needed, or it's every quarter, every year? Let's not go through the poll because we have less time. So I would recommend keep it updated as regularly as possible. I do that. After so many years, I do that regularly because people forget things, what some good things they might have done. Whenever possible, just do it. Spend some time, half an hour, update it. Don't do it after 2 years, 3 years. Okay, you might miss out many important things. Continuously, you need to improve. Regularly, you need to update. Get feedback from your colleagues. A neutral eye can spot mistakes than yourself. When you read it and then correct it at a bare minimum, a neutral eye can spot some things that is not spotted by you. So keep constantly improving. It's a cycle. It's not a one-time activity. Some very modern tools on specifically on this alone, we can have a separate session. How to use these tools. Okay, Grammarly.com, some grammar correction tools. It's a free version is available as well. Use that. It will spot more errors than MS Word. I strongly recommend this. I use this all the time. And there are some resume analysis tools as well, like resumeworded.com, jobs.scan.co, where they can upload your CV, upload the job description, they'll match and give you a score, telling how close are you. Try to get a maximum score as possible. And there are tools and templates available on the job platforms like Stepstone, Indeed, Zing, and LinkedIn. Zing is more used than LinkedIn in Germany. Resume.io, a new AI-based tool. Use these tools. And we have pretty much come to the end of our webinar today. The key things you need to remember is have a nice presentable format, tailor your resume for every role that you apply for, have a professional, clean design. Clean design need not be a very jazzy design, very basic black and white templates. Resumeworded.com, the one I have listed in the resources section. Go there. Some very nice tools, very nice templates are available. They are ATS compliant. And for ATS optimization, use tools like Europass. That's very widely used in the Germany. And these are the main contact takeaway points. And this is my contact details. I'll circulate the slides. You can get in touch with me at any time. We can open up the forum floor for questions now that you may have any questions.
Yes, thank you, Rafiq, for this like very useful and I think very insightful session. And the good thing is that many myths and many misconceptions are clear due to this. Thank you so much. There was a question in chat which was asked a while back. Just to not miss that question, Sarah asked, "How are we going to prove metrics in the interview later on?" You mentioned something, but how do you prove it?
Okay, the most difficult interviews are the most way is the ones where easiest questions are asked. Okay, I'll tell you an example. You might have given made tall claims on your CV telling you improved, automated, etc., etc. He will ask one simple question: what are the problems you faced? Unless you have done that, gone through the problem, and unless you can explain it, you'll be caught. Simple. What problems did you face and how did you fix it? If you have done it, you will be able to substantiate it. See, the metrics, they won't be able to verify it. That's not possible. But the way you explain and the way you answer some related questions, using that, you will be judged whether you have done it or not. Simple.
Yeah, thanks. And just to add, right, just to add Rafiq's great answer, I think most people in the industry, experienced hiring managers will already have a sense of what numbers are achievable, what is not achievable. So
Yes.
if you make some big claim, it's very easy to spot its
Yes.
nonsense.
Yes.
So, and they know what is possible. There was a hand raised by Abdullah. Then there is a couple of questions. Abdullah, please go ahead. Ask your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rafiq. I just have one or two basic questions regarding the Europass thing. Recently, when I was using Europass, I felt that there have been a lot of spaces added between sections and whatever things you want to add, it extends 2 pages. Even with basic information like language or education, it is taking two. So I stopped using Europass because of that reason. I started using Overleaf.
Okay.
Wanted to know that what the 18th thing about overleaf would be a good option, because resume dot like other AI platforms for resume making, I'm not sure. I didn't like sometimes the format color too colorful, I can say. So just started Europe, sorry, overleaf. So just what's your overview on all these things?
See, what you said is the right answer. Europass is for people who, if you can use Europass and if you can customize what it gives to you, it's a good combination. Otherwise, don't use Europass, because if you can't edit out these extra spaces, extras, a page that it creates, don't use it. Rather, you, as a software engineer, you should have control over the content you give. You should know to edit it at the basic level. And see, if you resume boarded, the one I mentioned, there are some very good resume formats. 7 day free trial. After that, it's paid. Go there and just download whatever you need, have it locally. Use the template from there. Just do a mix and match from content from somebody else, somewhere else. Use the content from a AI tool, and just don't copy paste the AI tools output. Try to customize it. Try. Put the extra effort. Then only you will get it right. Because while reading, we can easily see whether it is human written or it's machine LLM output that can easily be written. And just copy pasting the LLM output may not be the right thing, because for questions like nationality, answer is could be Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, whatever it is. Just one word answer is the output expected. Rather, LLM will give a paragraph. If you just copy paste, you don't impress. Okay, just you need to know to edit. Answer to it is do a mix and match. Use just you judge. You be the judge. Take the format from the right place, content from another place. Do a mix and match. If you use Europass or something, you should know how to edit it. There are various online tools available to even edit PDF and remove these extra spaces. So you need to be able to customize. You need to know to customize it.
All right. Thanks, Safik. I think it also you also answered a question which was asked by Mohammed Samiuddin, which was about ChatGPT. I think the answer which Rafi has given is that you don't just paste the output as is, and you have to customize for sure, because it is easy to catch. There was another question before we go to Mohammed Usman. I think the question was, I don't have, so Feroz asked, I don't have work experience. Instead, can I add projects in the same place?
Definitely you should do. Definitely you should do. It's all about standing apart, trying to impress. Projects in the sense, if you have done any academic projects, at entry level people, I ask questions, just explain your project, academic projects you have done. I just want to know whether he has done it or not. This is a very innocent question. So explain your project. You can mention your academic project and what you have done, not what your team, what your group of researchers have done. What was your individual contribution is what you need to do. If you don't have a professional commercial experience, write your academic experience, your GitHub projects. Those are very impactful than not having any experience, than just standing telling, okay, train me, give me a job, pay me, rather than telling that. Say that I have made some experts. I have. If he gets an impression that you are proactive, that you are coachable, you're trainable. Okay, otherwise it's a waste of time and money to coach you, train you, put through a training program. See, today it's very fast paced. The engineering aspect has matured a lot. Okay, optimizing sprints, every metric is tracked. So the businesses don't really have too much time to handhold you and train you. So if you can showcase that without a formal thing, I have done so much, I deserve a chance. So you should definitely mention your academic projects as the answer.
Yeah, right. And then thanks, Rafiq. There's a question by Usman. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you, first of all, for having this session. My question is regarding the job roles, which I faced basically. I'm from basically Pakistan, and I was working in the telecom industry for like 7 and 8 years. Then I moved to UK. Uh, Over there, my role was like cleaning the data and implementing the data. But I found when I moved to UK and then now into Germany, the titles, the job role titles, I found it difficult because I wanted to transition into the data field. Even though I was cleaning the data, I didn't realize that I am doing a data field job in a way, back working in telecom, because the JD was like a, uh optimization engineer. Like, this is my question, like how we can, transit to the job titles mentioning specifically on the CV in that way.
Uh, okay. See, job based on job titles, the shortlisting is not done. Okay, let me make it very clear. Shortlisting is done based on your skills, your commercial experience you have done, if you have done what is needed, or anything related to it or close to it. For many roles, there is not a close match, 100% match, nobody has it. 70% is a very good match. Okay, so this 100% match is not possible. And you as a preparation for a job applying, you should go through the job description at free time and see if there is any skills gap, see if there is anything you can learn on your own, do some certifications to bridge the gap. So you need to get as close as possible to the what is needed. So titles, don't worry about the titles, but instead of cleaning the data, you can just write something related to data analyst, what a data analyst role. These are some keywords you can use, some related keywords without faking. Get close to what is needed. Okay, that is what you need to do, and see if you need to upskill. You may not have had the relevant ask what is needed back when you were in Pakistan, but now you are in Germany. We can't say I'm from a different background, give me a different measuring parameter. You can't say. You're competing with everyone. Try to upskill, get close to what is needed. Titles,
Thank
don't
you very
matter
much.
the titles, but what content you write inside the title, is what matters.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, there's a next question by Sarah, which is it useful to include experience from 15 years ago?
Okay. Okay, looks like this candidate could be a very experienced candidate. The first two roles, the latest and the previous role, is what the recruiter will look at it most and scrutinize more. You can mention, but just like one liner. The latest two roles expand it more, as you have done whatever you have, give more details. But if you have too many, see, this 2-page rule is for a normal entry level 1 page, mid-level 2 page, more experience 3 page it can go to. Okay, because you have a lot to write. If you prefer, you can leave out some very not I can't say irrelevant, less relevant details. You can leave out that is very old. For example, I have 20 plus years. Okay, so the earlier pages I don't mention it, telling I just club it for 2 years. I club it in one line. 4 years I was doing software engineering, developing this, that, e-commerce, etc. you can write just one liner or shorten as much as possible. You don't need to go into too much details.
Yes, thanks. So I think these are all the questions that we had. There was a question, I think there were some brief questions which I answered in the chat, some quick ones.
Excuse me.
Abdullah has a question.
Yeah, just the last question from my side. Like for example, if I have a German proficiency of B1, or I can say I'm learning B1. So one of your point was to create a CV in German if the job post is in German. So what should I do? Because if I'm making a make CV in German and cover letter in German, but I'm not able to speak in German or communicate in the interview. So like, what is the suggestion? Should I make German CV and just include that? Like, what's the scenario in this case?
Most of the job descriptions, they will mention what level of German they expect. If you don't have that level of proficiency, there's no point in applying. Okay, B2 if they expect, or even C1 if they expect. If you have B1, there's no point in applying, and it's really hard for you to get shortlisted.
No. In certain cases, when the German proficiency is not mentioned in the job description, but the application advertisement is in German. So in that case, making a German language CV, I'm talking about that case.
Okay. If the job description is in German, apply in German. Your resume should be and cover letter should be in German. Okay. If you apply in English, there is very, 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 very less chance that you will be shortlisted. You won't even be shortlisted for the next level. If shortlisted, and if they are expecting language proficiency, and if you don't have, that is a skill gap you need to cover up over a period of time. Okay, over a period of time, you need to upgrade your skills, language skills, to come up to B2 or whatever is needed. Yeah. Fine. You can get shortlisted, but if you are in the interview, if they expect you to speak fluently, then you don't have a skill that is expected. So it's hard to get shortlisted. Mm. Only solution to it is improve the language skills.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just to add to what Rafiq says, so if it is, the ad is purely in German, right, and they don't mention explicitly any language requirement, then very likely it means professional German level, right? And if you don't have that, it's a risk. But if you want to apply anyway with the resume in German, make sure you highlight that your German skills are B1. Right? So otherwise it becomes like, you're trying to trick them into hiring, right? It's also not good. So make sure, if you're doing that, make sure your German current levels are highlighted very clearly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There's a next question by Junaid. Please go ahead, Junaid.
Yeah. So I had a question regarding I have a 3 years of experience in like front end development side of things in full stack development. But now my master's is into big data and AI and into the data science umbrella, and that is where I want to also go after my master's, and that is where I'm searching for my working student roles. So while preparing the resume, should I also mention the front end development as my work experience or not? This is like one of the questions because it is still in IT, but the skills are again slightly not slightly, still very much different. So the experience is not relevant to data science. So what's your take on it?
Okay, so there are two things: mentioning and highlighting. Highlighting, don't highlight your front end experience. Mentioning, yes, you should do, because it's better to have some commercial experience rather than having no commercial experience. Your previous commercial experience will be relevant, but less relevant for a data engineer role. So your data engineer skills should be highlighted more than your front end skills. Front end skills can be mentioned because it is a valuable commercial experience. You will have so many soft skills, transferable skills that will be relevant to a data engineer, but don't highlight them too much, is my answer. If somebody else of my colleagues from Germany want to add up to this question, please feel free to give your opinion.
Yeah, I can add because I'm in the data science role, right? And I see applicants who are trying to move, and Data engineering, for example, is not a field which is very far away from data analytics or data science. In fact, many data engineers, or these are somewhat adjacent. They even work together eventually, or many of them move from data engineering to data science also, right? So that's what I would say is that there are a few common things or common aspects. You like Rafiq said, you mentioned this. But among them also, if you have worked on something which is you feel is very close or very adjacent, right? Please do maybe prioritize the mention of that. Maybe that also helps, because we know that many data engineers become data scientists and the other way. So so that's that. Let's see if there are any other questions.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Looks like there is no other question.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Okay, yeah, okay. Please go ahead. I think that is the final question, and then we wrap up, folks.
Okay.
20 minutes early. All right. Please go ahead, Chai.
Can we add our internships under the work experience profile, or should we keep it separate?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Okay, if I have internships and some work experience, should I add it under the same heading or two different headings?
Okay. You have some work experience and some internship, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do it in a reverse chronological order. Most recent on the top. If your internships are on the top, do it in that order. If your work experience is more recent, do it in that order. Chronological
Okay.
order is very important. And
Okay.
internships, give details. Okay. Don't just
Okay.
say I did internship in say SAP Corporation or
Okay.
Microsoft. Just that doesn't mean anything for a recruiter. What you did in the internship, what did you learn, what did you deliver, what project did you work on, what skill did you acquire. That is what I want to know. Just by telling I worked in Microsoft as an intern doesn't mean anything. Rather, doing a proper impactful internship in a startup, okay, where you have done a lot of relevant things, you should explain that, expand on it properly with the right mix without getting too descriptive. Okay, this comes with experience, but you should start working on that. With experience, you will master this art.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of the questions. I think there's something about German, but it's already been answered. All right, folks, let's stop here. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining, and special thanks to Rafiq for doing this and taking out an hour and a half out of his busy schedule and sharing a lot of things. You have dispelled a lot of myths, also shared a lot of good points. This has been recorded, and we'll try to share the recording with all the folks who registered for this event. And yes, if you still have questions, please feel free to reach out to Rafiq or myself, and we are a group of volunteers, and we'll try to help you out. Yes,